this is Ana-Christina sharing tools of hope with the Resilience Builders. Today I wanted to talk about my painting pants again. I literally pulled them out of the trash. Why? To do this video. They were actually in the trash. I already did one video on it regarding anger. And I thought, you know what? These pants have another lesson in them. So here's what happens is these pants are well used, right? I blew out the knee, then I blew out the other knee. The back pocket is blown out. Actually, my Seeds of Hope cards came from this kind of situation. Why? Because I always keep my knife in the right pocket. That's why it's blown out here. And I would keep prayer cards in my left pocket. But the bottom line is these pants have helped me, have been one of the pairs of pants that helped me to make tens of thousands of dollars painting houses during a really hard time in my life. And part of what happened that I pulled it out of the trash is that we wanted to talk about judgment for a second. I thought about doing this video, and then I had a conversation with my friend Anne in Florida last night. We were talking about judgment and how it can be really hard to be judged, but also it's on us to be aware that we're judging. And that happened with these pants. I remember so many times after work, I would walk into Lowe's or Home Depot to pick up some more tools or some more paint. And not one person even gives me a second glance, because they're all people that are working with their hands, and not one person would give me a second glance. I walk in with these painted up pants. But if I were to walk into King Soopers with my cap and my paint shirt, my paint jacket, my paint pants, or even worse, one time I walked into Kohl's. I needed to get a birthday gift for one of my sons, I believe. And I walked into Kohl's in these painted up pants. And I got these kind of sideways, kind of dirty looks from the people that were in Kohl's. Not necessarily the associates, but just the people shopping. And you get that kind of instant judgment thing where somebody else judges you for how you look, right? And they don't know. They don't know who I am. They don't know my circumstances. They don't know anything about me, really. And this is an opportunity for us to take a step back and say, you know, how many times have I unjustly judged somebody based on their looks? How many times have I unjustly judged somebody based on how they spoke, based on how they held themselves? And Anne was telling me a story that she went to, I believe, a restaurant, and this gentleman was kind of bent over the counter, like he totally just had his head on the counter. He wasn't paying attention to anybody. He wasn't taking her order. She went up to the counter a couple times and he didn't pay attention. And she thought, you know, this person, this person isn't really paying attention. Why are they sleeping at work? Well, she went up a little bit later and she said, hey, are you doing okay? I saw your head down on the counter a couple times. And he said something to the effect of, I have two cervical vertebrae that are swollen, or they had some sort of problem he had some sort of major problem in his spine. And he was in incredible amounts of pain. And he said, the only thing that gives me any kind of relief whatsoever is to bend over and put my head on the counter. And he says, but I have to stay at work. And so all of a sudden, right, it changes the perspective. It changes the perspective. If the people that gave me a snarky look at Kohl's knew that I was a single mom trying to make sure that I could pay my mortgage for me and my sons, would it have changed their judgment? Not sure. And in the end, we don't really care. What we do care about is making sure that we know that when we move to make a judgment on somebody, that there's always more to the story. There's always more to the story. And so we get to choose compassion. We get to choose compassion for ourselves when we judge ourselves too harshly. We get to choose compassion for others before we make some stupid, idiotic comment that we can't take back, right? It's time to have compassion on the judgment. I remember I was walking out of Lowe's one day and this guy, and usually the people at Lowe's are pretty cool, but this guy in the parking lot, I was lugging out, 20 gallons of paint or something, getting ready for a job. And he says something to the effect of, he looked at my pants, and you know what? I wipe. I have gloves on, but I tend to wipe instead of having to carry around a rag. I tend to wipe the caulking and the paint on these pants. I mean, these have been used for years and years and years. And he says, "Oh, did you get any paint on the walls?" And he said it kind of snarky. It wasn't what he said, but it's how he said it to me. And I just fired back at him and I said, "You know what? These pants have helped me make tens of thousands of dollars in both, just tiny apartments and 10,000 square foot homes. So yeah, I got some paint on the walls." And I walked away. We get to choose. We get to choose how we hold ourselves. We get to choose to press past the judgment, whether we're the ones making the judgment or somebody else is judging us. We get to choose our stance. This is your time. This is your time to decide to speak healing. This is your time to decide to make a difference. This is your time to decide to be that light in the darkness and to press past the judgment. This is Ana-Christina, sharing tools of hope with the Resilience Builders. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.